Okay, so good afternoon once again. As I said earlier, there were 60 individuals who have seen my post, my link post for this session. And as of the moment, we only have 29 people in the Zoom call. Okay. I don't know whether they are so busy. They are sick. Okay. There are some individual who excuse themselves because they contracted. Tama ba? Is the term correct? They have uh, it turned out that they are positive of COVID. Okay. So again, I would like to reiterate to please be careful. Always drink vitamin C and B complex if you have, and everyone in the family. Si Nokera ata yung nakita ko kahapon. Is it you, Nokera? Uh, was it yesterday or the other day?
Nung isang araw po, sir.
It was Sunday if I'm not mistaken. No? Oh yeah. Okay. So once again, good afternoon everybody. As I said earlier, you can read the social literacy module later on. I'll just give activity and then you can answer it, but I'll give a gist lecture for social literacy today. Okay, so I'll be recording the video. I'll be recording this lecture, I should say, so other people can, benefit from it. Okay, they can go back and watch the lecture for the benefit of everybody. So, buryong na ba kayo sa mga bahay ninyo? Are you bored already? Don't be bored, ha? Don't be bored.
Okay lang sir, meron ka naman.
Puro ganun si How. Ang lakas maka strawberry ni How, no? Okay. So chapter 3 is all about social literacy. We're done with the basic introduction of literacy, followed by culturalism, multiculturalism, and globalization literacy. Okay. So now we're in social literacy. So what does social literacy mean, and what does it do? How does it improve our self? Generally, we are trying to understand again the different literacies across the curriculum. Before, the only important literacy is the literacy of writing, reading. The idea of literacy is simply to read, to write. That's all. Okay, but now, because of the changes, because of the challenges, because of the advances of technology, we are forced to learn other types of literacy. One, to improve ourselves. Two, to improve our communication with other people. Three, to somehow make this world better. Okay, that's the generalization. Now, let's proceed with my sharing for the social literacy. So I'm quite sure that you have read this already, as I reiterated for how many times that all of your modules have already been posted in your respective learning material platforms. Okay, we have in some posted in SIAS, some posted in Google Classroom, some posted in Facebook group. Kung saan kayo mas nadadalian. So the only thing you need to do is to read it in advance. Okay? Read it. That's your task. Okay? So, pag si teacher nagbigay na ng module ahead of time and then nagbigay ng pa-activity at ng mga activity, bawal magreklamo. Okay? Kasi it has been posted already. So, mamaya sasabihin nyo, walang time, walang gana. Okay. Still, again, I would like to remind everybody that all of us are students. All of us are learners. Me, myself, is also a learner. So there are three objectives under social literacy. One, develop understanding of the working definition of social literacy. So explain the roles of parents and teachers in teaching social skills to children, and discuss and examine issues in social literacy. Before I proceed, I would like to reiterate and I would like to emphasize that on this discussion, okay, under this discussion, we will be having a recap of some topics in facilitating learning in child and adolescent development. We'll also try to understand some principles in teaching in relation to social literacy. Okay, so the trend right now is integrative learning. So we are integrating and across curriculum, across subjects. So social literacy concern itself with the development of social skill, knowledge, and positive human values that enable human beings to act positively and responsibly in range of complex social settings. It is the knowledge of how to behave and treat other people in a way that is morally upright, just, and equitable, with a view of promoting positive and productive relations that are free from unfair prejudices, hate, and discrimination. These three descriptions will be explained below. Okay, so there are three general factors, okay, that we have to understand when it comes to social literacy. One is the idea of being morally upright. Two is morally just, and three is morally equitable. Okay, so one, by morally upright. So we refer to thoughts, speech, actions, and motivation. So what does it mean when we say upright? Okay, so morally upright refers to the thoughts, speech, actions, and motivations that adhere to a standard of right and wrong. On the other hand, just refers to speech, actions, behaviors that are in line with the fixed standard of justice. So any system of justice, whether national, regional, or local, requires a body of rules, okay, or laws by which to measure and administer rewards and punishment. Equitable are the speech, actions, behaviors, and decisions. Okay? So that's just refers to speech, actions, behavior that in line with fixed standards. Then equitable is a speech, action, behaviors, and decision that treats others fairly. Okay? So definitely when we are talking about social literacy, it is the understanding of what is right and wrong. Okay? Do you know what is the difference between right and wrong? Okay? Do you know how to distinguish, differentiate the difference between what is right and what is wrong? Okay? Um, there are instances wherein we have a different interpretation of what is right and what is wrong. Do you agree? Do you agree that all of us, all individuals have a different perspective and way on how to interpret what is right and what is wrong? Okay? For example, pagsusunog pagsusunog, okay? Burning of dry leaves. Ayan. For example, you're in the city and then you will be burning dry leaves. According to law, okay, according to 9 RA 9003, it is against the law to burn dry leaves, right? Bawal magsunog, tama? In any way, bawal magsunog. Sa bundok or sa you're in barrio, let's say. Okay? At marami kang puno. According to law, according to batas, bawal magsunog. Pero according to your principle, pwedeng magsunog. One, kung halimbawa ang mga halaman mo ay mangga, magandang pangpaalis ng mga lamok. Second, sinasabi nila ang pagsusunog, yung pagpapausok, ay pagpapabilis ng pagbunga ng halaman ng punong mangga. Tama ba?
Yes, sir.
Oo. So, by idea, kung ako tatanungin niyo, bawal magsunog. Pero kung halimbawa ang tatanungin natin ay isang nagtatanim, oh no, it's not bawal. It's not wrong. O, di ba? Malamok. Bawal nga ron magsunog. Anong nga gagawin ko? Di bubugawin ko siya, di ba? So that's definitely, there are different, all of us have a different point of view on how we define what is right and what is wrong. Whether it's in thought, in speech, in action, or in motivation. Sabi nga nila, ito two conflicting words eh. The end doesn't justify the means. Or the means doesn't justify the end. Have you watched Les Miserables?
Yes, sir.
Look down, and look down, la ra 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 ra. Come on, prisoner, tan. Your time has come, diba? Sabi ni who's the sino yung lalaki doon na police? I forgot the name. Okay. Kasi nung plinay namin yan, I was Mr. Thénardier, okay? Diba? The master of the house. Now, why did I use that? You are a thief. Diba? Okay? I stole a loaf of bread. Diba? You are a burglar. Okay? I broke a window pane. You remember that line? Diba? According to them, he was a thief. Why? Because he stole a loaf of bread. Why did he stole a loaf of bread? Okay? Because her daughter or his something like that is hungry. Okay? Bakit ka nagnakaw? Kasi gutom eh. Walang pera, walang trabaho. Para kumain, para mabuhay, I have to steal. Tama yung yung gusto niya mangyari para kumain, pero yung paraan ba niya tama? Okay? So there are things contradicting, di ba? On how we identify what is morally upright. Simply because on how we interpret things. But definitely according to social literacy, a moral upright person is the one who knows how to adhere to the standard of what is right and what is wrong and who provide this standard. Sino nagbigay nitong standard na ito? Yes, Christine, may sinasabi ka, dear. Unmute mo, anak.
Sir, society lang naman din.
Society. Okay.
Law of people.
It's the society who give the standard. Who else will give the standard? It's the society. Okay? So, the idea is, if you follow the standard, then you don't have problem. But if you don't adhere to the standard given by the society, then that's what we call deviance. Deviation. What does it mean when we say deviation? Deviation is you are deviating, you're defying. Hindi mo sinusunod, sinusuway mo yung sinasabi ng nakararami. Okay? Because we have what we call consensus. What is consensus? Consensus is the general decision of many or the greater population or the greater number of the population. Like for example, let's have a scale of 100 people. For 100 people, when we say 60 of 100 people agrees, then that is the consensus. Why? Kasi nga lagi natin sinasabi, di ba? Majority wins. Majority wins. So therefore, the standards that we have right now is decided by the majority of the people. That's morally upright. Now, what is a morally just or moral just? When we say moral just, okay, we are referring to a fixed standard of justice. Just. Tama. Okay? May hustisya. Okay? So, kanina sa moral left right, it depends on how we interpret things, whether it is right or wrong. Okay? Let's use again the example earlier about burning dry leaves. When we say morally just, we cannot use the assumption na hindi may lamok, may ano. No. According to law, it is against the law to burn dry leaves. So therefore, since you defy the law, you didn't obey the law, then definitely you will be punished. Right? But if you follow the law, if you follow the justice system, whether it's in speech, action, and behavior, then you will be rewarded. Wala nang usap-usap. When it comes to being just, the law shall prevail. The law must prevail. And then equitable means the speech, actions, and behaviors and decision that treat others fairly. Okay, fairly. It's in my cell phone later, and I hope I can share it with everyone. The idea of what is just, what is equality, what is equity, and what is justice. Okay. When we say equality, we are telling or we are providing equal opportunity, right? Equal opportunity for everyone. Let me look for a picture of equality. This one, I think this is it. Do you see this one? Do you see this? Do you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When we are talking about inequality, it is an unequal access to opportunities. Okay? May mayaman, may mahirap, merong may kakayahan, merong ano. Okay? Second is when we talk about equality, evenly distributed tools and assistance. Okay? Si Pedro ay kumikita ng 5,000 sa isang buwan. Si Jose ay kumikita lamang ng 2,000 sa isang buwan. That is inequality. Now, provided we have equality, okay, provided we have the idea of equality, may ayuda. Okay? Magbibigay ako ng tagda 2,000 sa kanila. Okay? Why? Because it's equality, we are evenly distributing tools. Pantay na pagbibigay. Kung makaka-receive si Jose ng 2,000, ganun din si Pedro. Okay? But the point is, do they have the same situation? The 2,000 is favorable to whom? Kasi si Jose, si Pedro, may 5,000 na siya, maayos ang kanyang buhay. Si Jose, 2,000 lang kinikita niya sa isang buwan, bitin siya. Pag binigyan mo siya ng 2,000 pa, kahit pa paano magiging maayos ang buhay niya. Pero pag si Pedro binigyan mo ng 2,000, maalwan na ang buhay niya. Ha? But we're referring to equality. Now, equity. Equity refers to custom tools that identify and address inequality. Okay? So, bibigyan mo sila ng equal chances. Depending on their, what? Depending on their status. O, bigyan natin ng 4,000 si Jose. Ay, 5,000 si Jose. Para pumantay siya kay Pedro. Nabibigyan mo naman ng 2,000. That is equity. Okay? Now, how about justice? Let me have another picture. I think this is much clearer on the idea of justice. I hope we can let me download na natin para desktop. Let me show you the picture. Okay. Equality means you're providing equal opportunity. Equity means you are trying to elevate, you are trying to provide opportunity depending on their situation. So para ang mangyayari merong favoritism. Kasi mahirap siya, bigay mo na sa kanya yan. Okay? Parang nangyayari ngayon sa SAF, 'di ba? Oo. Yung mga though tama rin naman, no? Kasi sila nga yung poorest of the poor. Okay? Pero siyempre may pangangailangan din naman itong mga nagtatrabaho. 'Di ba? Hindi lang naman yung poorest of the poor ang may kailangan. Hindi lang sila ang anak ng Diyos, sabi nga natin. And then when it comes to justice, you remove the barrier. You remove the barrier that hinder individual or hinders individual in developing themselves. Kanino may bakod, binigyan mo ng tagi-isang block. That's equality. Equity, may bakod pa rin pero binigyan mo ng 2 block at 1 block depending on their situation. Para wala tayong problema and everybody's equal and fair, you remove the barrier. So everybody will have the same opportunity to enjoy things in life. Do you agree? Diba? So that's the idea of equality, equity. That's something equitable. Okay? Which is very important and crucial. Equitability. Now, why social skills is very important? Why it's very crucial? RJ, what is your opinion?
Sir?
Why it's very important for us to understand the idea of social skills or
Sir,
the social literacy?
Sir, for us to have a transparent transition and integration between the people we encounter every day. Of course, sir, as a teacher, kailangan mong maging connected sa lahat ng mga sa society para sa ganun is maging maganda yung at maganda at makabuluhan yung pagtuturo mo. Kasi in the end of the day, ikaw yung mag-inculcate sa estudyante mo na kailangan na makipag-socialize. Kasi ang pangit naman kapag yung estudyante mo iisa lang, parang mag-isa lang siya, ganun sir, interpersonal. So you need to embrace yourself, engage yourself into others. Kasi sabi nga nila, no one is an island, sir.
No man is an island. We need people to help us. Diba? No man is an island. That's true. Hindi porke mayaman ka, hindi mo na kailangan ng ibang tao. Mayaman ka, the more na kailangan mo ang magsasaka. Kasi kung hindi mo kailangan ng magsasaka, wala kang bigas. Di ba? Kung mayaman ka at tamad ka magluto, kailangan mo ng tagaluto. So that's true. But we need to understand, we need to have a clear understanding of the importance of social skills. As a teacher, why do we need to teach? Why do we need to understand social skills? And why do we need to learn how to teach social skills properly? Jolina, ano may bagam? Medyo mahina ata yung net ni Jolina. Napapansin ko rito sa screen ko, naglalag siya. Roma, let me hear from Roma.
Sir,
Why do we need to understand the intricacies of social literacy? And at the same time, why do we need to learn how to teach social literacy?
sir, para may apply din natin to ng tama. And para makita natin kung saan yung mga kulang. Tsaka saan tayo mas magkakaintindihan. Parang ganun. Kasi sa social interaction, sir, sa, pag hindi na pag-aralan yung social literacy, sir, hindi natin makikita kung ano kung bakit, kung paano, parang kung saan po nanggagaling yung, ba't hindi tayo nagkakaintindihan, kung bakit may mga misinterpretation na nangyayari. Kaya mas maganda po, mas napag-aaralan natin siya. Para in case na maging future educator tayo, makikita natin kung ano yung tamang ituturo natin at ano yung mga dapat na hindi natin ituturo. Parang ganun po.
Okay. In what setting can we practice better our social skill? In what setting? Where? Where can we practice our social skill? Where can we practice?
Sir, school po.
Correct. Thank you so much, How. Correct. That's correct. That's correct. That's definitely correct. It is the school where we can generally practice our social skill. Why? Because most of our time, especially the children, we're referring to the children, we're referring to all the students, the pupils, most of their time, okay, they are in school. Right? If the situation allows that we don't have this pandemic, everybody will be at school. All of us will be at school. You will be interacting with each other, with one another. Okay? You'll have the idea of what is social perception, social cognition, and social performance. Diba? What does it mean to be at school? As a teacher, what is our role? Let me have Aimee. Aimee, are you there?
Sir.
As a teacher, as a future teacher, what is our role?
Sir Kwan, yung isang role natin is magiging tayo yung taga-guide sa kanila, tayo yung sabi sa kanila, sir, kung ano ba yung mga tama or mali. Lalo na, sir, pag mga elementary students, ganun, sir.
Okay. We are actually, it is our responsibility to make sure that we can avoid bullying, discrimination. Okay? Because in the society that we are moving right now, in the society that we are living right now, okay, it is prevalent that we are experiencing bullying. We are experiencing discrimination, right? Have you watched Night Fam in Facebook? Most of the
Yes,
time,
sir.
most of the time I watch some of their posts, of their video posts when Floyd, the Black American that was killed by
Policeman.
a policeman because niluhuran niya, okay, yung leeg. And here comes the Black Lives Matter movement. But one problem right now that's happening is that there is a discrimination towards Asian people. But when we talk about Black Lives Matters, everyone talks about it. Everyone participates on it. The white American, the black people, everyone. Okay? But what's happening right now is that there is also Asian Lives Matter, but the one who are doing the movement are all Asians. Puro Asians lang din, unlike the Black Lives Matters. Di ba? So, our role as a teacher is to make sure that we try to prevent bullying. Okay? Let's go back with the idea of child adolescent in facilitating learning, that in Erik Erikson's psychosocial theory, okay, why do we have this kind of feeling na pagdating sa school, bully siya, pero pagdating sa bahay, hindi naman? Why? Kasi doon lang siya nakakapaglabas ng kanyang feelings sa school. Kasi sa bahay, siya naman ang nabubuli. Diba? Now, it's not just the sole responsibility of the teacher, but also the parents. I'm quite not sure if you have read the memorandum that was released by DepEd Santiago City, okay, the division office of Santiago City. That's why DepEd Santiago became famous. The memorandum even went viral to Africa. Okay. You know what's the content of the memorandum? Anyone who knows the content of
Sir,
the memorandum?
Yung disiplina is nagsisimula sa bahay.
Correct. Thank you. Correct. Discipline starts at home. Diba? So you don't expect that teachers will be the sole or the individual who will teach values to your children. It is not just our task. Hindi lang yun ang trabaho namin. Though it is our task to make sure that they'll grow with values, with good attitude, but it doesn't matter na yun lang yung trabaho natin. That's how important it is. Instilling discipline is everyone's work. The parents, the teachers, the society, and you as an individual. Sabi nga nila, ang values daw, ang pag-uugali daw, hindi talaga na ituturo. Ito ay na-accumulate. Ito ay nakukuha. Okay? Na-a-adapt. So kung ang bata, pangit ang ugali, malamang sa malamang pangit ugali ng mga magulang niyan. O kaya naman ay pangit ang ugali ng mga taong nakapaligid sa kanya. Because there are this is what we call the society and the peers and the people around. The environment is a big factor towards one's attitude and values. Malaking factor siya. Pero it doesn't mean naman na ganun. Meron mga situation, allow me just to use it hypothetically. There are situations na sabi nila, oh, batang tondo yan, masama ang ugali. Why? Because Tondo, Manila has the history of being, being drug den, being an area for a slums area for criminals, okay, violence, but not all people in Tondo are the same. Okay, so definitely social skills provide us what we have to, introduce various things. It starts with the greeting. Sa mga Tagalog, ang sabi po at opo. Sa mga Ilocano, walang po at opo. Pero meron silang manang, manong, auntie, uncle. Urehan dagi bagati po and opo, ibagada uncle, pagatang man, urehan damit nga uncle. Di ba? Why? Because that is how Ilocano shows their respect. That's the idea. The greeting. Okay? We learn how to greet, but hindi lang naman basta hi, hello ang pagbati eh. Simpleng pagtango, the gesture, the movement. Okay? Kasi halimbawa, when I say hi, hello. If you're not seeing
Hi, sir.
my face,
Hello, sir.
visit ka how?
Ay,
sir.
If you're not seeing my
Kinabahan ako.
face, if you're not seeing my facial expression, you'll have different interpretation, right? That's why even if you don't say hi, even if you don't say hello, with simply having our facial expression can be a greeting. Simpleng, di ba? Okay. Oh, di ba? So that's how we do greeting. Now, initiating conversation, there are so many ways on how to initiate conversation. And once we initiate conversation, another important thing is to listen. Most of the time I will always ask, what kind of a kausap do you want? Anong klaseng kausap ang gusto mo? Do you want a kausap na makikinig lang?
Madaldal.
Just listen? Or
Masaya.
hindi, 'di ba? Kasi people, hindi lahat ng taong nakikipag-usap sa atin ang kailangan nila ng magsasalita. In some instances, na kailangan lang nila makikinig. That's why I always ask, what do you want? You want a listener? Yes, gusto ko na may kausap na makikinig lang. Okay. Makikinig lang ako. And then, you want my opinion? Sige nga. That's a formal talk. And another is, anong klaseng kausap ang gusto mo? Gusto mo ba yung kausap mo na susuportahan ka o sasampalin at tatadyakan ka ng katotohanan? Gusto ko kausap mo, down na nga ako tapos pa ako. Basta lang. O pag ganun, hindi friend, tama yung ginagawa mo. Totoo lang yan. Okay lang yan. Diba?
Dapat yung jolly.
Depende nga kung ano nga kailangan ng kausap mo. Kung hindi ko naman kailangan ng kausap, hindi ko naman kailangan ng jolly. Ang kailangan ko lang makikinig. Kaya mo bang makinig?
Yes. Understanding
Sigurado,
the relation.
kita mo, komento ka ng komento, di hindi ka nakikinig. Di ba? Bomba ko yung lugar ni How. So see, diba? There are different types of listener. There are different things that we need. Okay? And there are different ways on how to communicate with people. Halimbawa, si RJ, pagkausap niya si Christine, nagbabatukan pa yan. Nagmumurahan pa yan. Naglalaitan pa yan. Diba?
Yeah,
Why?
love that.
Because that's how they communicate. Kung halimbawa kami ni Christine, kami nila RJ ay magkakausap, kahit na sila magkakaibigan, pag meron silang kasamang mas nakakatanda o maestra, the way they talk are being limited. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Why? Because we try to adapt with the situation depending who is the person we're talking to. So this is the idea. Okay? And then of course, empathizing. There is a big difference between empathy and sympathy and apathy. Okay? There is a big difference wherein you're telling na I feel you. Okay? But you're not in the shoe. Okay? Iba kasi yung nakikisimpat siya sa nakikiramay or sa any other things. Okay? And of course, we have reading social cues. There are instances when we hear sarcasm in the voice of an individual, we tend to, okay, bye, ganun na. Di ba? Kasi alam natin yung ng paraan ng pakikipag-usap ng tao. That's why we need to identify what are the social cues. Parang tipong, uy friend, di ba may lakad ka? Halimbawa si Christine, ka-date niya yung jowa niya. Okay? Tapos
May
bigla
jowa.
dumating si RJ. Eh si RJ dalahira ang bibig. Ano ba? Hoy, di ba Christine, di ba mayroon ka kasama kanina? Siyempre, malalaki mata ni Christine.
Nako,
Di ba,
patay!
RJ, may lakad ka ngayon? May kausap ka? Ay, hindi friend, wala. Dito lang ako. Di ba? Oh. Makaintindi. Okay? Doesn't know how to understand social cues.
Sanyasa mo.
Yung kurot-kurot pa, sir.
Oh, exactly, di ba? These are what we call social cues. Okay? Then, of course, we have previewing or planning. And then, of course, we have problem solving. And then, the apologizing. When to apologize, what is the, sorry na, di ba? Parang yun doon sa TikTok. Sorry na nga eh, di ba? Ba't ikaw pa magagalit? Sorry na nga, nag-sorry na nga ako, di ba? Sorry but not sorry, sabi ng bata, di ba, sa TikTok. Oh. So those are things that we do. And then of course, sabi nga natin, the role of the teachers in the development of social skill it's very important. The way we treat our children inside our home is very important. If you try to I implore everybody to go back and read the theory of Erik Erikson, okay? The psychosocial theory, the theory of Lawrence Kohlberg, the moral development theory, the 4 stages of moral development theory. Four stages of moral development theory by Kohlberg. Okay. Another is the psychosexual stage. Okay, stages by Jerome Bruner. I'm quite not sure. No. Okay. Try to go back these theories under the psychosocial, the psychosexual, the moral development theory. Okay. The zone of proximal development. Try to go back on those theories and try to have an idea on how we can apply this theory into educational context. Okay? 1, bakit may bata na madaling matakot? Bakit may bata na hindi natatakot? Bakit may bata na malaki ang tiwala sa sarili at may bata naman na takot gumawa ng mga bagay-bagay? Okay? Why? It is because there are variations in the life experiences in the life experiences of every individual. Depende kasi siya sa moral support. Depende kasi siya sa support na nakuha niya ng bata siya. Okay? Halimbawa, yung mga tao na masyadong, alam mo yun, they're adventurous. They were given enough support. They were given enough freedom. Yung mga tao naman na laging, tutuloy ko ba o hindi? Gagawin ko ba o hindi? Laging, frantic, laging doubting.
Indecisive.
Yeah, indecisive. Definitely is most of their childhood life, they are being pampered. Na nung wala na yung mga magulang nila para mag-guide sa kanila o mag-cheer sa kanila, hindi na siya makagalaw mag-isa. Okay? So I want you to go back there. Later on, I'll post it in your Google Classroom to go back there and have a reading about it because it's very important. Again, I would like to repeat everybody that what you are studying since first year up to today, up to 2 years from now, is interrelated with each other, and it's very important towards your understanding through your professional education subjects. Okay, it's interrelated, ha? At tandaan niyo po yan. So that's how we do about social skills. Kasi nga, it depends on how the support, it depends on the upbringing, okay? It depends on the environment that we grew in. Okay? So, Another is there is the social literacy development, whether it's intrinsically or extrinsically. Extrinsic. Okay. So whether it's explicit and implicit development, it depends. To philosophy, you're familiar with the different educational philosophy? Do you remember the different educational philosophy? Idealism, realism, essentialism, pragmatism, hedonism, Epicureanism, progressivism, reconstructionism. Madami po yan. Stoicism, agnosticism.
Diretso.
Yeah, marami po theory yan. Okay? But
Dumais
two common theory about it, or two common philosophy, I should say, philosophy. Sorry, it's not theory, it's philosophy. There are different philosophy. Okay? Is pragmatic and individualistic. Pragmatism and individualism. When we say pragmatism, okay, what is right for Nokera can be wrong for Wena. Okay? What is right for Nokera can be wrong for Baha. What is right for Baha can be wrong for Nokera. Okay? That's how we, interpret things. Can we have a short break? Wait lang, I have to do something. Okay.
Okay,
So,
let's mute.
as I was saying, there were two philosophy. One is pragmatic and individualistic. Okay. Actually, one is normative, communal, and then the pragmatic or individualistic. Okay. So let's have the explanation for pragmatic. Yung sinasabi nga nating what is true to Baha can be false to Nokera. Okay? Kung ano yung tama kay Nokera, maaring mali kay Baha. Okay? So that's the idea of pragmatism. Why? Because when we talk about pragmatism, we're referring to individual experiences. Okay? Like for example, let's say si Lloyd ay para kay Lloyd masarap ang lechon. Okay? Para kay Lloyd masarap ang lechon, halimbawa. Pero para kay Roma, hindi masarap ang lechon. Okay? Why? Because Roma has a prior experience about lechon. So therefore, hindi masarap sa kanya ang lechon. But does it mean that Roma is wrong and Lloyd is correct? No? Sino sa kanila ang tama? Okay? Sino sa kanila ang mali? May mali ba sa kanila o may tama ba sa kanila? When we are talking about pragmatism, they are actually both correct. Okay? Why? Because they have their own experiences. Another example. We all know that killing is
Bad.
correct. Killing is bad. Killing is not good.
Sin. It's a sin. A crime.
However, we can only rely on this philosophy when it comes to court. Why? Kung ang judge na mapupunta sa iyo ay pragmatic, okay, ibig sabihin nakakaintindi ng individual differences of what is right and wrong, may chance ka. Why? If your judge is a pragmatic and you say you kill someone and then you will be asked, why did you kill him? Because he was about to kill me. So definitely it's a self-defense. Okay. If your judge is a pragmatic judge, then therefore you can be free. Pwede kang lumaya. Why? Kasi nga, tama naman. Bago kanya mapatay, napatay mo siya. So that's definitely self-defense. However, if your judge is an idealist, when we talk about idealism, what is true will always be true and forever will be true. So since for an idealist, killing is false, killing is bad, no matter what is your excuses, no matter what is your reason, you still kill you still killed that person. So therefore, kulong ka. Okay? So that's how we use a philosophy in education. That's how we use philosophy in life. Yeah. There are instances wherein, when we talk about social skills, when we talk about social literacy, there are instances wherein if people around you commit mistake, okay, nagkasala sa'yo, you will always find a reason to blame them. Okay? And there are instances also that when we commit mistakes, we will always find lame excuses to justify our mistakes. Do you agree? Di ba? May mga tao na pag nakagawa ng kasalanan sa atin, ang dami nating nasasabi. Pero pag tayo nakagawa ng kasalanan, ang dami nating excuses para i-justify yung ginawa natin. So that's how human nature works. Okay? Why? Because people are inherently good. Okay? The idea, this is the political philosophy of men are naturally born good. It's the society who corrupts us. Yeah? But according to another political philosopher, he said that men are naturally born evil. We're just looking for an outlet to release it. Sabi, lahat daw tayo ay masama. And we're just waiting for that one thing na magpapalabas ng pagiging masama natin. Do you agree? Diba? So those are the things that we have to understand. In other words, sabi ko nga earlier, sometimes it is there, often it is not. We are quick to champion the cause of moral uprightness, justice, and equity. But back when our words and action come under their scrutiny, I should say. In other words, we insist that others be judged according to a fixed moral standard, but invoke a subjective one when our own behavior is questioned. We demand justice when we perceive ourselves to be victims of wrongdoing, but we surround ourselves with excuses when we do wrong. So we insist that others treat us equitably but are reluctant when treating others with equity costs more than we expected. Did you understand? Naintindihan ba? Or should I interpret it? Naintindihan? Or should I interpret it? Oh, don't be shy. Kaya pwede naman nating interpret. Para nakikita natin kung pare-pareho tayo ng wavelength ng understanding o hindi. O, pag naintindihan, okay na. Pag gustong interpret ko, i-PM nyo ako ng personal para O pag may
Ngayon na lang, sir.
yan. Ha? O para hindi, baka yung mamaya yung iba dyan nahihiyang aminin na hindi nila naintindihan. May nag-PM ba? Wala pa nag-PM. So naintindihan na ng iba. So shall I move on with another? Oh, PM is the key dun sa chat box natin. Diyan sa ano, sa Zoom chat. Wala. Okay na tayo. Sabi niyo yan ha. Sige. Everything I am uttering will be part of the exam, ha? So, in today's situation, we are binded by the standard set by the society. We are bound to follow the etiquettes and the norms, the norm behavior of the people, because this is the approved idea of the society. You know, sumusunod tayo sa trend ng lipunan kahit hindi siya sumasang-ayon sa ating personal na pananaw. Okay? So there are instances like that. So our ability to read social situations and our ability to adapt in the situation give us strength, gives us advantage in dealing with other people. Understanding the social cues and the facial expression of the people around us can provide us a very good advantage about closing a contract, communicating. Pag alam mo whether you have to expound your explanation or you have to cut it there. So, kaya nga sa pageant, you know, in pageant, in beauty pageant, when I trained some of the beauty queens before, okay, we have this what we call 2FI, first impression and final impact. Okay, so dapat paglabas mo pa lang, the judges would have a first impression about you, and that first impression should be good. Okay, pag halimbawang bad first impression naman, dapat yung final impact pasabog. Okay? And then, when to stop in explaining. So, sabi namin, meron kaming prep. PREP. So, when you answer question in a beauty pageant, you always go with the prep. Okay? When you construct your answer, you always go with the prep. What is a prep? P stands for point. So, what is the point of the question? If, for example, for you as a woman, what is your edge among other candidates? Okay. So one, the point is, what is my edge? Thank you so much for that question. What is my point against other candidate? What is my edge against other candidate? That's point. You're emphasizing your point. Another is our reason. So you have to reason out. Ano yung ano yung advantages mo, ano yung edges mo? Okay? And then example. If you can cite a quote, a saying, a person, then that's good to provide an example. And then you go back to point. So that is my advantage against other candidates. Answering that 4 key points, may chance ang manalo ng pageant. Diba? So anong relation dun sa pinag-uusapan nating social skill? You have to look to the eye of you have to look on the eye of the judges. By looking at the eye of the judges, you'll see whether they are satisfied or not. If they are satisfied with your answer, you stop there. You cut your answer there. Kasi nakuha mo na sila. You have to end it with a bang. Why? Kasi baka mamaya pag dumire-diretso ka pa, mawala na yung interest nila sa'yo. So same with explaining. Tulad ngayon sa mga mukha nyo, parang doubtful kayo sa sinasabi ko. So I'll stop there. Okay? But some of your facial expressions saying, oo nga no. So I might still continue talking. 'Di ba? So that's how we do things around us, You have to read the expression of the eyes. You have to understand the facial expression of the person you're talking to. So you'll have the idea whether to proceed or not with what you are currently doing right now. Yeah? So that's how we deal things around us. So are we clear, people? And of course, there are different ways on how we talk with our people right now. Okay, when we are referring to social literacy, we have okay. So to wrap it up, social literacy concerns itself with the developments of social skills, knowledge, and positive human values that enable human beings to act positively and responsibly in range of complex social settings. Social skills range from the ability to initiate, maintain, and end a conversation to reading social signals to more complex skills such as solving problems and resolving conflict. The modern age calls for young professionals to develop situational awareness and social intelligence in both technological and traditional communication to succeed in their academic and career endeavors. Peers and schools play a formative role on the social skill development of children. So those are the things that we have to understand when it comes to social literacy. Again, I implore everyone to read it again and go back with the things that you have difficulty in understanding. You may ask question if you have difficulty in understanding the topic. And then aside from that, I would like to emphasize, part of social skills is the learning of the language. The learning of the language and when and how to use it. We just finished module 1 of our online class with mother tongue based multilingual education. You're done with MTBMLE? Sa inyo ba yun or sa ano? Do you have mother tongue based? Wala, no? Elementary lang ata yun.
Sa English dati ata sir sa amin no first year.
Meron kayo doon. Mother tongue based sa inyo and ano. Ayan. Kasi katatapos namin ng module 1 sa mother tongue based. We have post developmental learning ng mother MTBMLE. Nakakaloka siyang intindihin. Pero maganda siya, nakakaaliw. Okay? Especially the English majors, the Philippine, everyone who are teaching language, The acquisition of language is very crucial. Especially identifying your L1, L2. Who among you have L1 of Ilocano? The first language they learned is Ilocano. Or their native tongue, whether if you're Igorot, the native tongue of Igorot, the native tongue of Ibanag, okay? So if your first language was your native language, okay, then that's good. Okay? And then understanding the lesson of L2, L3 language switching from grade 3 to grade 4, something like that. Okay? So that's it. Are there any do you have questions or clarifications? I hope you have one for us to clarify things around. Do you have questions, people? Or clarifications? Meron, wala? O bakit hindi ito nababasa? Ayan. Wala? Shall we proceed to the next?
Yes, sir.
Ay, yes talaga.
Charot. Hindi ko alam sir, sa kanila, sir, pala.
Ako, okay lang ako magsalita hanggang mamayang alas 7 ng gabi. Dire-diretso ako magsasalita, okay lang. Sa daldal kong ito pagdating sa lecture.
Sir, gutom na raw si Roma.
Gutom na si Roma. Sana all nagpapadala ng pagkain. Grace, how are you?
Sir, medyo okay naman po.
May ubo, may sipon.
May konting abo po. Makadilala muna ko, sir.
Nagsuob ka na?
Sir, hindi pa naman kami, sir, nag-quarantine pa lang po.
All you need to do is to communicate with your teacher correctly and properly. If you have concern, pag may sama kayo ng loob, you direct it with Dean. Diretso kayo kay Dean. Huwag yung dinediretso sa kung ano-anong page. Hindi siya nakakatulong. Nakaka-toxic siya. Yung nagpupunta dun sa page, mga bobo at tanga. Mga imbecile, afatus, moron, idiot. The lowest of the lowest of the lowest of moron. They are the lowest creation of stupidity. Kasi you were if you have concern, pag halimbawa other teachers, you can talk to your other teachers, okay, para i-communicate nila. If you have concern with your classmates, you can talk with your teacher. If you have concern with other faculty members, you can consult it to me or you can consult it directly to Dean. Pag ako naman ang problema nyo, kay Dean kayo diretso. Okay? Para si Dean na magsasabi sa akin if you have concern with my, with my process. But definitely, sa lahat pa naman na nakagraduate ng NC, College of Education, wala pa namang napasama. Wala rin namang namatay. Oo, ha? So, everything we're doing right now is the best way we can think on how we can assist you in your learning. So help yourself to learn. Okay? Be intuitive, be madaldal, and be istibis, meaning alamin niyo yung mga dapat alamin, yung mga even to the smallest details. You will need it, people. You will need it, people. Okay? Kasi wala tayong face to face ngayon, so mahirap pag meron tayong bagay na hindi naiintindihan tapos sasabihin natin, ito okay na, naiintindihan ko na. Mahirap po yun. Later on, kayo rin ang magsasuffer. Later on, estudyante nyo ang magsasuffer. One prevalent concern, one concern na malaking problema is how we will have the practice teaching by next sem. If ever ang inaano namin, baka mamaya people 2022 pa itong virus. Ako personally, yun ang projection ko. 2022 pa tong virus or 2023. Hanggat hindi pa kayang bumili ng bakuna ng ordinaryong Pilipino. What we're having right, sorry, post ko nga lang muna.